All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our December press availability with Superintendent Dr. Miriam Rogers. Happy holidays. It's almost the end of the year, and we've spent this calendar year sharing a lot of updates with you all. And of course, this morning, Dr. Rogers will provide updates. I do want to encourage you, if you haven't checked it out already, we are closing out the year with our BCPS Wrapped campaign, where we're highlighting some of the incredible stories over this past calendar year, just showcasing the amazing things that our students and staff are doing. So please take a look, follow along, and share all of our content as well. So Dr. Rogers, welcome.
Good morning and happy December to everyone. Oh, that was very nice. Well, thank you for joining us. I want to welcome our TABCO president, Cindy Sexton, who's here with us. Happy to have you. Want to share a few updates with you, then we'll open it up for questions. The first thing we want to talk about is the Maryland Report Card. Team BCPS started the month of December celebrating incredible news with the release of the 2024 Maryland Report Card reports. The data for Baltimore County Public Schools shows significant improvements across all grade bands, and that is truly thanks to the collaborative efforts of our entire staff, including those who work in schools, central offices, and operations. I thank Team BCPS for the intentional focus on providing the high quality instruction and supports for all of our students and our commitment to continuous improvement. I'm incredibly proud of our 20 5-star rated schools, the most in the state of Maryland, and the 38 schools, elementary, middle, and high schools, that work hard to increase their star rating this year. We also have the top-rated high school, Eastern Technical, and the top 2 rated elementary schools in the state, Rogers Forge Elementary Schools and Sparks Elementary School. I also want to celebrate and applaud McCormick Elementary School that we highlighted earlier in the year for their drastic reduction in chronic absenteeism. They also had a 2-star increase in the state of Maryland. As I said to our staff and community, this is news that should be celebrated, and we are doubling down our efforts because we know that there's so much more work to be done. We remain focused on our top priority areas and creating the conditions for success. My charge to every member of Team BCPS is that we continue working together to build on this momentum and strive for even greater success for all of our students. Turning our eyes to budget now. As we approach the end of the calendar year and prepare for the winter break, we are working to finalize a recommended fiscal year 2026 operating budget request to present to the Board of Education and Team BCPS. We are in the home stretch and have spent the last several months engaging our staff, families, and stakeholders in in-depth conversations about the budget. Their feedback has been vital, and it is clear from their feedback that there are priority areas for our system. I'm grateful to our Board of Education, County Executive Oshefsky, and the County Council for full funding of last year's budget. For the upcoming budget, our community wants to continue to see investments in staff recruitment and retention, strategic programs, and opportunities for students. Their input and insights have helped to shape the request that I will submit to the board in just a few short weeks. We know that there is lingering uncertainty regarding blueprint funding as the state is facing unprecedented fiscal challenges. However, fast-forwarding student achievement and learning will remain our main priority and at the center of our work. We want the operating budget request to clearly lay out the strategies that we intend to use to bolster student progress and move our system forward. We are committed to working with our Board of Education, the interim county executive, members of the county council, and county delegation to see this budget through. Moving BCPS back to the top will require significant investments. These investments will yield positive results, not just for our system, but for the county and the state. I invite all members of Team BCPS community to tune in at 9 a.m. on January 13th as I present our budget requests to Team BCPS stakeholders. The Baltimore County Police Department recently shared that since the official start of the school bus camera enforcement program, more than 7,437 citations have been issued. That's a lot. We join the Baltimore County Police Department in urging motorists to slow down and to stop for our school buses as they pick up and drop off students. The citation numbers are alarming. Hundreds of motorists are passing by stopped school buses every week. We must work together as a community to prioritize student safety as they head to and from our schools. As a reminder, Maryland law requires drivers traveling in both directions to stop at least 20 feet from a stopped school bus with activated flashing red lights. Motorists who fail to stop will receive a $250 fine. It is our collective hope that our community will follow the law. Let's do our part to keep our children safe. This time last year, we announced the launch of a partnership with Talkspace to provide more than 32,000 Team BCPS high school students with access to high-quality telehealth therapy and mental health resources. Talkspace is one of the ways that we are responding to growing student needs and extending supports that students can access beyond school hours, year-round, and at their convenience. In addition to unlimited messaging therapy, students have access to Talkspace Go, which is a comprehensive teen mental health self-guided program. I'm pleased to share some data on the implementation of Talkspace as the end of November 2024. 526 new users have been added for therapy. Talkspace on the Go has had 1,306 new users. The total impact this year is 1,832 new users. Chat messaging, so far there have been more than 24,013 chats with therapists and more than 3,791 sessions. In addition to Talkspace, we are providing support to students through our Mind Over Matters campaign. Schools are connecting activities to student learning to increase awareness about self-management with activities that include self-care and promote healthy habits and routines. We also announced at the start of the school year the launch of our partnership with Maryland Consortium on Coordinated Community Supports to expand access to behavioral health services for students. Examples of these services include family care coordination, focused on improving mental and behavioral health towards positive attendance, and life skill groups. There also are students who receive mental health services to address complex mental health needs. We're pleased to share that the consortium has released a third request for applications that BCPS and the Partnership Hub, which is Baltimore County Local Behavioral Health Authority, will be partnering to complete. We will host an information session on December 18th, 2024 at 3 p.m. on the Greenwood campus to provide more information. With that, I invite Ms. Onijala back.
All right. Ready to take your questions? And I have a request that you actually remain seated so we don't block the cameras this time. So.
Hi. What are your thoughts on Governor Moore's proposal to pause the collaboration time in the blueprint?
I am very pleased to see Governor Moore respond in that way. Across all 24 school districts, all superintendents came together to really talk about our experiences, unpack each pillar, and make some recommendations that really speak to all districts, large, small, everything in between. And we put forward a letter to the governor wanting to work in partnership to make the necessary changes, knowing that the fiscal crisis was upon us. Part of pausing the collaboration time is a response to that. We know that with greater collaboration time, it requires one of two things to happen. Either you have to hire more teachers, which we know there's a national teacher shortage, or you have to have fewer class sections, which means higher class sizes. While the research is very clear that above 13, you don't see the same level of growth. Being a former chemistry teacher, I know that there was a difference when I had 25 students in my class versus 34 students. And with students having rising needs in our classes, we want every opportunity that teachers can have to meet with them and give them that individualized instruction to be realized for them. So we're very pleased with that announcement.
So you just spoke about the budget a little bit. One of the things that plays a factor in that is enrollment. Baltimore County is down about 4.5%, a little less than 4.5% since COVID happened before COVID happened in 2019. What level of concern is this for you as the leader of Baltimore County Schools.
Well, thank you for sharing that. A little more than 1,000 students, if you look at K through 12, that were down, but they don't include pre-K. And pre-K full-time, we have over 2,000 students sitting in our pre-K full-time seats and another 2,400 in our half-day seats. Those students are going to be a part of our enrollment numbers next year. And so, of course, we want to grow in other areas, but we're looking in good shape because those students will be a part of the enrollment next year, and we're going to continue to fill those seats and continue to grow our enrollment to where it was pre-COVID. So thank you.
Back here.
Dr. Rogers, good morning to you. Stefan from WJZ. Obviously following you since you started, I'm all about this Team BCS plan and tracking the progress of that. We're coming to the end of the first semester. Kids are about to go on break. If you could name just 2 top things that you're proud of that you guys have accomplished as according to that plan, and 2 things that really are things you really want to try to work on and try to accomplish going into the second semester.
Thank you. I think the 2 top things that we are proud of is everyone being on the same page about our priorities as a school system. So we've identified 4 priorities. Last year, we brought them into this year because the work is still to be done. And I think we're very proud of the fact that everyone can articulate what those priorities are, because with the articulation come the actions. And then the second thing that I'm most proud of is that all of the internal and external data sets for all groups of students in all areas of our system, the different grade bands, that we see it all trending in the right direction, starting with reducing chronic absenteeism, which is the first step, making sure that students are in school so that we can educate them at high levels. In terms of 2 things that we still want to work on, so chronic absenteeism has improved, but all students are not in school as much as we would like. So that's an area that we want to implore our community members, our parents, our guardians, our caregivers, please send the students to school. There's 80,000 of them with a bunch of buses rolling. That's an indication to send them to school. We'll even take them late, although we want them on time, but we need them in school in order to do the work that we need. And I think the second one is a toss-up because certainly we want to continue to make sure that schools are welcoming, safe places for all students to do their best learning and all teachers to do their best teaching. But I would be remiss if I didn't use this opportunity to say the upcoming budget is an area of concern. We are really righting the ship and moving in the right direction, including focusing on recruitment and retention for our staff, and we want to keep going. We want to fully implement year 2 of our 3-year compensation package for all staff, just so that they have that security so they can continue to do their best work. So thank you.
A few months ago, one of the big topics probably in the whole state was cell phones in the classroom. You guys implemented a policy in the beginning of the school year. The program was supposed to last, I think, until the end of the first semester, if I remember correctly. How is that going? Do you have any updates?
I do. We have a whole presentation this evening going to the Board of Education. So I'll give you a quick highlight because I don't want to steal their thunder. But we did a pilot, and it was secondary schools that could volunteer. Tonight you're going to see not only the results in terms of the stakeholder perception survey in those schools, what students are saying, what staff are saying. I can tell you going into the schools, it looks and feels completely different. Students are talking to each other. They're engaging with each other. They're engaging with the teachers, and teachers are not spending precious time engaging in any back and forth with students over the cell phones. But it's also important to note that you see, in most cases, you see where the cell phones are. They're nearby. So in terms of safety, if there's ever an emergency, a student can grab their cell phone quickly, and that gives them that peace of mind, but it's put away so they can focus on teaching and learning, which is ultimately what we want. So good information to come this evening. So I will be sharing this evening that we're going to watch. But that's right on time. We're going to watch and see what happens second semester, because we've learned many great lessons that we'll be sharing this evening, and then make a final decision in the spring for the fall. But it's moving in the right direction.
Just as a follow-up to that, I also wanted to know about progress with those 16 schools that volunteer with the pouch program. Just how is that going? Is that going to affect what you're saying tonight and how you're moving forward? And also just your comment on, I know it's a little bit out of our area, but you're aware of different school districts, but I believe Arlington schools over in Northern Virginia, they just did a cell phone ban. Where's the consideration in that in conjunction with how this volunteer program is going?
So we will be reporting on all. We ended up with 17 schools participating in the pilot, and so this evening's report is from those 17 schools, and we have a wave of schools who want to be a part of additional implementation. And so that has an impact on, the decision that we make for the school system. In terms of the ban, we've heard certain places made bans. What we did, because there were certain people who were more vocal around cell phones, we wanted to make sure that we really had the pulse on Baltimore County Public Schools, what our teachers wanted to see, what our families and stakeholders wanted to see, which is why we sent out the survey last year. We heard from them loud and clear of top concern for families was if there was an emergency, students having access, but I think everyone was on the same page with cell phones being the distraction that they are to our young people and needing to find a way to really focus on that teaching and learning. And so I think where we've landed so far meets both ask, and I'm not going to share more, although I've said a lot, but we have some findings as a result. You're welcome.
I mean, she said it all. She said tune in tonight if you want the rest of the information. So I would encourage you to do so. But with that, thank you all for joining us this morning. Happy holidays again. And we'll see you in 2025. Stay safe.
Take care, everyone.